10 years after I started liking Leo, I finally got tired of it. I stopped clinging to him, returned the gifts he gave me, and declined all his invitations. 1 month, then 2 months went by, and I didn't appear in front of him once, until my friend posted a photo. In the dim light, a pale hand was resting on the narrow waist of a man. Where the fingers touched, there was a tattoo of my name. The sexual tension was palpable. He couldn't stand it anymore and came to seek a reconciliation, only to find me almost losing control as another man held my waist and kissed me. The man raised an eyebrow at him. What, Leo? You got a habit of peeping on others making out? Leo noticed my phone wallpaper was a picture of him. He smiled sarcastically at me. You like me? Are you serious? I bit my lip and nodded, my face turning red. He stood by the hallway window, the neon lights casting shadows on his face, making it hard to see clearly. But Sophie, you're not my type. I've always seen you as a little sister. Sister? For a moment, I thought I misheard. How could it be a sister? Since I could remember, Leo had always been by my side, so close I could see him by just turning around. When the pressure of my college entrance exams caused my skin to break out, he prepared meals for me, tutored me, and accompanied me to exams. When I was mugged abroad and shed a tear, he flew to my side on a private jet. Why are you crying? Come lean on my shoulder. Once he heard a business partner make a lewd comment towards me, he politely trashed the guy's deal and bankrupted him. I can't even bear to say a harsh word to you. How dare he bully you? When I threw a tantrum and didn't want to take over the family business, he pulled me in front of everyone and defended me. What's the big deal? Even if she doesn't want to do anything later, I'll take care of her. His absolute favoritism was mine alone. Isn't that love? Could a brother really treat a sister this way? I pressed. But I don't want to be your sister. Leo lit a cigarette and sighed helplessly. Sophie, I want us to stay as we are. He slowly exhaled smoke. I sniffed and coughed a couple of times. He quickly extinguished the cigarette and looked down at me. Couples can break up, but family ties last forever. Do you understand? I shook my head. You're still young. You can't tell the difference between love and habit or dependence. Try dating a few people and you'll see. I gripped his hand tightly. Leo, I know the difference. I've liked you for a very long time. I don't want to be your sister. I want to be your girlfriend. Can't you give me a chance? This was my do-or-die gamble, staking my pride. But he was silent, and silence was an answer. Tears betrayed me, rolling down. He just watched, a slight impatience in his eyes. Crying till the end, I suddenly felt exhausted, and realized how ridiculous I was, like a child seeking attention by crying. This was too embarrassing. Slowly, my tears stopped. Leo withdrew his hand as if to ensure I would completely let go of this relationship, or to make me give up on him entirely. The smile on his lips faded, radiating disinterest to deal with me anymore. Sophie, girls who throw themselves at guys look really cheap. I had words, but they stuck in my throat. Enough had been said. Any more would only make me look worse. So I just tugged at my lips. Got it, Leo. I didn't beg or plead anymore. I wiped my own tears away. The air was so still that all I could hear was the pattering of the rain outside. Want me to give you a ride? I shook my head. No need. He seemed like he had more to say, but instead, he just nodded briefly. Take care of yourself. All right. I turned and left. When I got a cab back to school, the rain was still pouring. Using my bag to shield my head, I stood by the school gate. Soaked to the skin, I wiped my face, unable to tell rain from tears. Just when I was about to rush back into the rain, an umbrella was held out to me. Looking up, it was a classmate, Ethan, if I remembered right. I accepted his kindness, but I still got a fever. Half conscious in the middle of the night, I thought, maybe this is the pain of heartbreak. You need to go through a severe illness to fully recover. On my way home for the weekend, my mom called. Sweetie, have the driver take you to Leo's house. We're having dinner there today. Thinking about Leo, I refused. Mom, I don't feel well. I don't want to go. Leo's family is having a big event. Just show your face and then you can go home. Okay. After thinking it over, I agreed. Shortly after, my best friend Lisa sent me a photo. Your Leo bought you a necklace. Such a big spender. I told you he likes you. My friend saw this at the auction the other day and sent it to me. Why didn't you show it off? My heart was pounding. I had been eyeing that necklace for a while and mentioned it to Leo. But when I stepped into Leo's house, I saw it around another girl's neck. It was Shirley. For a second, my brain froze until she greeted me with a smile, snapping me back. Sophie, you've grown up and look prettier every day. Forcing back my emotions, I smiled back. Hi, Shirley. Shirley was impressive. She was Leo's age, one of the few who could match him. Leo had always admired her. It was clear, even to me, that today's family gathering was arranged to set them up. I didn't feel heartbroken. I just wondered, why that necklace? Why, of all things, this one? Our eyes met across the room. Leo frowned slightly and quickly looked away. Too, it seems like he wasn't too happy about my arrival. Given our clarified relationship, I shouldn't have shown up so cluelessly at his matchmaking dinner with someone else. When there were rumors about him and Shirley before, I had probed Leo about the possibility. He said he and Shirley were too similar, both strong-willed, good partners, but nothing more. Back then, I foolishly thought that my soft nature was a perfect complement to his strong one, but it was all just my wishful thinking. I didn't stay until the end of that meeting. Instead, I replied to Lisa, "It's not meant for me," and he rejected me after finding out about my crush on him. I started packing up the gifts Leo had given me. On the video call, Lisa wouldn't stop talking. "He rejected you. Come on, no way. He said he thinks of me as a sister and doesn't want to cross that line." The box in my hand contained gifts Leo brought back from Pakistan. He went there for business, and although he could come back earlier, he stayed an extra day just to buy me something. And then he got caught in a terrorist attack. While we were still on video call, an explosion went off behind him, cutting off the connection. I was so worried I couldn't sleep, my pillow soaked with tears, ready to go find him. But then he showed up with that gift. He still had a wound on his forehead. Seeing my swollen eyes, he rubbed my face and said, "I'm not dead. See, I'm back in one piece." I lunged forward and hugged him tightly, my emotions in turmoil. "A sister? That's ridiculous. Does Leo really believe that? We've all grown up together. Can't you see the difference in how he treats us versus you? In the past, I thought it was his special affection, a bit of romance, just between us. But now, I don't think so anymore. To Leo, I am a sister, a relative, family. The one thing I can never be is his lover." Feeling a bit gloomy, I walked to the balcony and saw in the garden under the big tree at Leo's house next door. Leo and Shirley were very close. It looked like they were kissing. Leo's sidelong glance seemed to catch me watching, like a peeping Tom getting caught. I quickly retreated back into the room. Suddenly, it all felt meaningless. As I pulled the curtains, I spitefully thought, is this Leo's way of making me give up on him completely? As if he didn't know. My heart already died on that rainy day. I stopped paying any attention to their news. I just thought I'd return those gifts to Leo when a chance came. Lisa's birthday was celebrated at a place we always go to. When I arrived, our friend Evan had just come in from outside. He said he saw Leo dining next door, and I invited him over. Leo said he'd pay the bill but wouldn't come. Guess who he was dining with? Evan asked, looking gossipy. Lisa, aware of my feelings, moved to cover his mouth, but he had already blurted out, with Shirley. Whoa, what a bombshell. The two most outstanding people among us ended up together. Doesn't that mean what happens to Sophie? Seriously, can you just keep your mouth shut for once? Lisa threw a cushion at Evan. Evan innocently replied, Lisa, did you eat a bomb? I just mentioned Sophie. Why are you so triggered? Lisa rolled her eyes and comforted me. Sophie, don't be sad. Men, old ones go, new ones come. I forced a smile. It's your birthday. Don't worry about me. My birthday wish is for my sister to be the happiest. Doesn't Leo know how special it is to like someone for years these days? Listen to me, Sophie. Rent a male model. Make him initiate. Make him revolve around you. I'm telling you, you'll soon be so absorbed that you won't care about Leo anymore. What model? Regret what? Lisa, you're thinking crazy stuff again. Evan butted in. While they bickered, I stepped out for some air. Looking down, I saw a familiar figure being cornered in the alley below. His arm was injured, and his clothes were torn. When Sophie lifted his face, I recognized him. It was Ethan. We were classmates for 3 years. I had no idea Ethan's family situation was so tough. I saved him. Then I gave him some money to pay off his debt. Use the rest for your grandmother's medical bills. It was a way to repay him for the umbrella he lent me on a rainy day. He stood there stunned, his eyes gradually reddening. His fists were clenched tight, veins bulging. His cold, pale skin appeared fragile under the streetlight. He said he'd repay me as soon as possible. He also said I could call him for anything I needed. Sometimes, the connection between people is just that magical. Or sometimes, when you look back on the decisions you've made, you have no idea why you did them at that time. And that's how Ethan, unexpectedly, became my first boyfriend. In my memory, he was always aloof and prideful. My roommates used to say he was a regular on the confession wall, but his heart wasn't in it. He was focused on starting his own business with seniors. He had won many entrepreneurship awards and was top-ranked in our field. He always had his own goals, far from mine. Back then, My life revolved around completing my studies and sticking close to Leo. So, switching roles. I was curious to see what it was like when someone was head over heels for you, always putting you first. Would it make me feel like I was settling? In the 4th year of college, we had fewer classes, and Ethan was doing a great job. When we were together, he took the initiative. Even while busy with his career, he still prioritized me, even if our relationship was based on money. Months went by, and driven by hormones, we held hands, hugged, acted like a normal couple. I stopped reaching out to Leo. Lisa said once when she and Evan were out, they ran into Leo. He asked about me. Lisa accidentally mentioned I was in a relationship. Leo's face turned dark, and after 2 cold laughs, he left without saying goodbye. What do you think that means? I don't know. But that night, I did get a message from him. It said, "You've grown up." It seemed random, so I didn't respond. In hindsight, it's been some time since then, too, when I got his call. I had just left the library with Ethan. "Are you at school?" In the sunlight, Ethan held an umbrella over me and gently turned his head away. He was giving me space. I nodded. Even though Ethan and I weren't lovers, our family backgrounds meant we couldn't be enemies either. Besides, he hadn't really done anything to wrong me. He just didn't like me, that's all. "I came to school for a forum and dropped by to get your favorite cupcakes." His tone was as usual, as if discovering my secret crush on him was just a trivial incident. There was a small stone on the path, and I tripped over it. Ethan quickly supported me and reminded me softly, "Watch out." Getting my bearings, I declined Leo's offer. "No need, Leo. I'm cutting out sugar for my diet." There was a brief silence, and when he spoke again, his tone had a barely noticeable tremble. "Then how about I take you out for a meal? I'm having lunch with my boyfriend." For a while, there was no sound from his end. Finally, I heard his increasingly heavy breathing, tinged with disbelief. "Boyfriend, Leo, Lisa wasn't lying to you last time. I really do have a boyfriend." Turning a corner, I saw Leo standing at the entrance of my dorm building. His dignified air naturally attracted the attention of passing girls. He saw me too, striding over to me. I hung up the phone, pursed my lips, and called out to him, "Leo." "Sophie, aren't you going to introduce him?" I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, but his tone seemed a bit gritted. Before I could say anything, Ethan took my hand. As usual, he interlaced our fingers, as if wanting to envelop me in his grasp. He politely said, in a gentle tone, "Hi, I'm Ethan." Leo stared coldly at him, crumpling the dessert bag in his hand. Shifting his gaze to me, he raised an eyebrow. "Why didn't you tell him who I am?" I was momentarily stunned. What did he mean? Feeling uncomfortable under his gaze, I reluctantly spoke to Ethan. "This is my neighbor, Leo." As soon as I finished speaking, the bag fell to the ground, spilling the desserts. I heard Leo's strained voice, "Neighbor," who knew what I said triggered him. That day, with a look I'd never seen before, Leo stared at me for a few moments, then walked away dejectedly. In the north, winter comes quickly, and snow fell early this year. Lisa invited me to go skiing, and I brought Ethan along. On the ride up the mountain, Ethan put hand warmers in my hand. When we got off, he silently wrapped a scarf around me, making sure I was bundled up tightly. Snowflakes fell on his hair and eyelashes, turning them white. I chuckled. "Ethan, your eyelashes are so long. Has anyone ever told you that?" He smiled slightly and shook his head. "No." "Well, now someone has. Think they can hold a matchstick?" After putting my hat on, he lowered his lashes. "Why don't you try that later? Now, give me your hand so I can put on your gloves." I obediently held out my hand. Ethan was the type to consider everything, always careful and gentle. Most importantly, he was emotionally steady. Being with him felt safe. This was my first time introducing him to my friends. Lisa was the most excited, pulling me aside to whisper, "Sophie, your boyfriend is super handsome. Told you, the best way to get over someone is to start a new relationship. By the way, Leo's here too, but he seems busy with work." I nodded. After all, we were all in the same circle, so completely avoiding each other was impossible. Being too obvious about it would just show you still cared. Ethan brought me a thermos. "You coughed a few times earlier. Drink this to soothe your throat." I smiled at him. "You and Lisa go get the gear. I'll watch you guys." Embarrassingly, I'm terrible at sports and never learned to ski despite trying for years. "I'll take you skiing." His eyes were intensely locked onto mine, clearly not joking. Are you good at it? Yes, very good. He wasn't being modest at all. Feeling tempted, I geared up with him. Lisa and Evan were already having a blast on the slopes. Racing under the sunset's afterglow, they looked incredibly cool. Seeing my admiration, Ethan finished adjusting my goggles and tucked my hair into my hat. I'll hold you while we ski. What? Ethan, now fully equipped, reached out to me. In a sleek black ski suit, his height stood out even more. Before I knew it, I was clinging to him, arms around his neck. Ethan, I'm heavy. Not at all. You should eat more. Ethan, you sure about this? Trust me. He held my legs, and we were so close we could hear each other's breathing. Evan and Lisa whistled at us. For some reason, my face felt hot. Ready? Ethan's voice was deep and gentle in my ear. Yep, here we go. In that weightless moment, I couldn't help but scream. Ethan, I'm here. Ethan, Sophie, look at the sunset. It's beautiful. I never knew Ethan was such a skilled skier. He took me down in all sorts of ways while I had a blast. When we finally stopped for a breather, I suddenly felt a gaze on me. I glanced over and saw Leo. Who knows how long he'd been there? He'd already changed into skiing gear. It reminded me of the past. Leo used to teach me skiing. He was patient, guiding me step by step, but I just couldn't get the hang of it. Whenever people teased me, Leo would scoff at them. Go have your fun. Don't distract Sophie. Leo was right. Dependence and habits fade with time. I realized I didn't need him anymore. Others urged Leo and Ethan to have a race, because they were the best skiers there. I pulled Ethan and shook my head. Leo scoffed. What? Afraid I'll beat him? Don't worry, Ethan said, gripping my hand. Okay, be careful then. Leo's face instantly went dark. His eyes stopped on our joined hands. His gaze was so intense, it felt like he was trying to bore a hole through me. As they took the chairlift up, Lisa leaned in next to me. I don't get it. Why did Leo even agree to this race? Is he jealous or something? I shook my head. I don't know. Didn't he tell me to try dating more people? Also, would a brother really get jealous of his sister? When the race started, the crowd erupted into cheers. In my heart, I quietly rooted for Ethan. After all, Leo's skills were top-notch. At the start, things were fine, but halfway through, Leo and Ethan got closer and closer. As they neared the finish line, Leo was trailing a little. Then his snowboard deliberately collided with Ethan's. Ethan fell, and Leo crossed the finish line first. Only people who have skied know how painful falling at such high speeds can be. Sophie, did you see? Leo skied up to me, seemingly wanting to say that the person I chose was nothing special, not worth mentioning. I just looked at him coldly. Was it fun, Leo? Was it interesting? Ignoring the astonishment in his eyes, I rushed over to Ethan. How are you? I'm fine. It doesn't hurt. How could it not hurt? He couldn't even stand. Really, I'm okay. Ethan remained gentle, but I could clearly see his hands and legs trembling. I've always been good-tempered and gentle, but now I felt a fire burning in my chest. I ran back to Leo, apologized to him. Leo looked like he'd heard the biggest joke. Sophie, do you know what you're saying? I do, Leo. You knocked him down. I saw it. So what? You're taking the side of someone you just met over me. I silently stared at him. Leo frowned deeply, looking at me in disbelief. Sophie, do you like? I cut him off. I like him. Is that a problem? And he's not someone I just met. I've known him for a long time. I said each word clearly. His name is Ethan. He is my boyfriend now. In an instant, the air went still. So still that even our friends around us were holding their breath. They all knew that for years, Leo was the only one in my eyes. I was his little tag-along. Everyone thought we would naturally end up together at the right time. I thought so too. But we all overlooked one thing. If someone truly likes you, why make you wait? The atmosphere was tense. Lisa nudged Evan, trying to get him to pull Leo away. Leo, eyes slightly red, glared at me in anger. He kicked over his snowboard, sending up clouds of snow. Then he said to me, fine, all these years, my caring for you was all for nothing. He stormed off, leaving with the wind and snow. I went over and slowly helped Ethan up. There was a doctor at the private ski resort. After examining him, they found some soft tissue bruises and a slight displacement in his knee and ankle. Throughout it all, Ethan kept looking at me gently, reassuring me not to worry. Even when the doctors set his bones back, he didn't make a sound. My nose stung a bit. When the doctors left, I sat beside him. I'm sorry. I didn't know this would happen, or that Leo would do that. Under the warm light, Ethan's gaze was incredibly soft. He grasped my hand and patted it. It's okay, Sophie. Thank you for bringing me to meet your friends. I'm really happy. Ethan was always like this, always so gentle. Leaving his room, I ran into Leo leaning against the wall in the hallway. We just silently stared at each other. Finally, he sighed and walked towards me. He reached out, as if to touch my head like before, but I stepped away. What? Afraid of me now? He frowned. You're so guarded against me now, Leo. I have a boyfriend. So, it's not suitable for such intimate gestures that might cause misunderstandings. I didn't want to misinterpret his actions as affection anymore. I've moved on. Even as a brother and sister, we need to keep our distance. Leo gritted his teeth, a twitch at the corner of his lips. Ungrateful little thing. How long have you been dating him that you're already defending him, liking him this much? I just think I should respect this relationship. And respecting it means pushing me away, Leo. I called his name. Before, when Lisa and others called him Leo, I always gently called him by his name. But after that last time, I started calling him brother. I thought my actions made my stance clear. You said it yourself, that girls who take the initiative lower their value. Remember? He laughed angrily. Still holding a grudge? No, not anymore. I walked past him. I really don't like you anymore. Ever since that day, I hadn't seen Leo, only occasionally heard that his project with Shirley was very successful. People said they were a powerful team, a match made in heaven. I didn't care much. I stayed in my dorm preparing my thesis. The rest of my time, I spent with Ethan. He introduced me to his friends and told me about his senior projects. Sometimes, when they were busy, I'd sit quietly in their office with my laptop. He'd occasionally give me a blanket to keep me warm or prepare little snacks. During meetings, if I coughed, he'd discreetly pass me honey water without pausing the discussion. He never seemed to deny any of my requests. I was enveloped in his tenderness and gradually understood what Lisa meant. When you're surrounded by love, you don't think about anything else. The day before New Year's, Ethan gave me a gift. It was a necklace. It couldn't compare to my previous ones, but I knew it was the best he could afford. And there was also a bank card. For what is this? There's $500,000 in here. I'm paying you back a part of it first. I was shocked. Ethan, where did you get so much money? Locking eyes with me, he stuffed the bank card into my bag. After we launched the game on Twitter, it went viral. This is my share. I knew what they were working on, but I never expected such a small game to bring in so much. It's no rush, really. This money was about the price of a purse to me. I hoped he would continue his business. Seeing my thoughts, he smiled. I kept some. Don't worry about me. Grandma also has someone taking care of her. I accepted his repayment. But suddenly a thought hit me. Our relationship started because of money. Would paying back all the money mean the end? Come on, girl. Don't tell me you're really into Ethan now. I pondered. Lisa shook my shoulder. Really? I thought about it. Liking someone didn't seem that embarrassing. So, I nodded. Images of Ethan filled my mind. He was always emotionally stable and gentle, and very patient with me. There were no other flirty girls around him, and he kept a respectful distance. I had heard my roommates say he was an unattainable flower. I thought he'd be hard to handle, very cold and aloof. But after getting to know him, I realized he had a passionate side too. Often, in deserted hallways or shadowy gardens, he would hug me so tightly I could barely breathe. But we hadn't kissed yet. What? You've been dating for almost 6 months and you haven't kissed? Is he not capable? Not really. I think he just respects me. Evan's face turned serious again. All right. Let's not talk about that. Sophie, you need to be aware of the gap between your families. Plus, didn't you start off kind of awkwardly? Look at those news stories about men marrying rich daughters, and then taking their family assets. You can have fun, but I think you should break up before graduation. Don't get too deep into this. If you really like this type, you can just keep one as a boyfriend later. I wanted to argue, but then I noticed Leo standing behind us. Not sure if it was my imagination, but he seemed to be smirking. Was he laughing at something? I had just gotten home for New Year's when my mom dragged me next door. We normally spent these holidays together with the neighbors. Leo's sick with a fever. Go upstairs and bring him some water for me. Holding the water, I was pushed to the stairs. But didn't I just see him looking fine last night? How did he suddenly get sick? When I knocked and walked in, Leo was lying on the bed with a fever patch on his forehead, looking a bit pale. Seemed like he was really sick. I walked over and called out, Leo. He raised his hand, so I quickly handed him the cup. Are you feeling better? When our fingers touched, his temperature did feel high, so I let go of the cup quickly. He seemed a bit displeased, lowering his eyelids, but he pointed to the desk. I've prepared a gift for you. There's no need, really. Sophie. His tone grew firm. Then he abruptly started coughing. I reached out to pat his back. He grabbed my hand. An older brother giving a gift to his sister. Are you going to reject it now? I sighed inwardly. Leo used to give me gifts on every small and big occasion. But, no buts, just because you have a boyfriend, doesn't mean you forget your brother. He kept emphasizing brother. I wondered if I was reading too much into it. Alright, thank you, Leo. How have you been lately? He barely finished asking when my phone rang. It was Ethan. Turning aside, I took the call. Ethan asked if I was free this afternoon. The stray cat we rescued had found a new home. Thinking lunch was only at noon, I said I was free. Then he asked if I wanted to have dinner together, and I agreed. When the call ended, I noticed Leo looking a bit gloomy, but he quickly returned to his usual self and smiled. Not joining us for flower arranging this afternoon, I bit my lip and nodded. At the dinner table, my mom brought up the topic of Leo and Shirley. She asked if they were dating. Leo was quick to deny it. No, we're just working on a project together. My mom laughed. Shirley's a great girl. You should hurry before someone else snags her. As soon as she said that, Leo's gaze shifted to me. Not sure why. Leo's mom chuckled too. You should also worry about Sophie. She's 22 this year. I quickly put down my chopsticks and waved my hand. I can take care of myself. Look at how you scared her. I was going to suggest that Evan might be a good match. My mom interjected. No, Evan is a bit too single-minded and clueless. At that moment, Evan, at a hot spring hotel with Lisa, sneezed. After dinner, I made an excuse to leave, but Leo returned with my dad, saying he wanted to trim the garden. I went upstairs to pack my things and paused in front of the room where I kept gifts. Then I placed Leo's gift inside, unopened. When coming downstairs, I heard my dad shout. Rushing over, I saw Leo's foot injured. Sophie, call 911. Leo's foot is hurt. At the hospital, Leo looked apologetic. It's been too long since I used that machine. It must have been tiring. Looking at the bandage on his foot, I didn't know what to say. So I checked my phone. Ethan had messaged, saying not to worry and asked if I needed help at the hospital. Is it something important? If you have plans, it's fine. I can manage myself. Leo, understanding as always. I looked at his injury. He probably didn't need me. Before you go, could you get me a bottle of water? Leo smiled. It might be hard for me to move later. The company still has some issues I haven't sorted out. Sophie, could you also grab my laptop? Mom called too. She said I should take good care of Leo. After all, he helped my dad while he was sick. But I still felt something was off. Why was this so coincidental? Leo, did you do it on purpose? Did you do it to keep me from leaving your sight today? Leo was stunned. He didn't expect me to be so direct and blunt. But being calm as always, he smirked. Is that what you think of me? It's hard not to. What benefit would I get from doing that? I was speechless, feeling stuck in this deadlock again. I see you as my sister. I'm not into you. What's my reason for doing this? My head felt a bit messed up. So I tugged at my lips. I'll call a servant to bring your laptop, and hire a caregiver so it's easier for you to use the bathroom. Leo, I have plans with my boyfriend. I'm leaving now. Just as I closed the door, I thought I heard something break. Days passed by one after another. Neither Leo nor I mentioned what happened that day. Ethan said they'd probably spend the New Year's at the office. There's a new project that needs to be online before the holiday. At the same time, there's a game they've been working on for a year. It's an Otome game, and he's the main planner. I laughed. Ethan, no wonder you're so good to your girlfriend. Turns out, you've studied what girls need. He laughed too. So, would my girlfriend be interested in helping us find areas to improve? You know, some character settings we just imagine, or get from data. We lack experience. So, during that time, I helped them as a specially hired consultant to refine the storyline, and found that it had a good prospect. Then I waved my hand and said I wanted to invest in them. Ethan disagreed. It was the first time he refused me. Why, if I invest, you guys will have more money to speed up the development. Sophie, I'm already very grateful to you. In the toughest times of my life, you helped me, you kept my family together, and enabled me to keep studying and continue my own venture. I've walked out of that muddy path. My life is improving step by step. With you by my side, I treasure the days we spend together. I don't want you to contribute more. You've taken the first step. Let me walk the rest of the way towards you, okay? It was the first time I'd heard him say this much. Talk about us. My heart, Sophie, felt warm. But I was still stubborn. Ethan, I bet you'll make me win. I bet my investment will pay off. So, I signed the investment agreement, taking 10% of the shares. On the day school closed, Evan suggested we get tattoos. I refused. I'm scared of pain. I don't want it. She turned to Evan. Evan looked at Ethan. In the end, Evan and I didn't get tattoos. But Evan and Ethan did lie down on the tattoo bed. Evan squealed like a pig. Evan sighed with relief. Good thing I didn't lie down, otherwise it would be me in pain. Evan, so, when the tattoo artist came out, I finally saw what Ethan had tattooed. He had my name inked on his side waist. The skin around it was still red. I reached out unconsciously. Just as my fingertip touched his slender waist, Evan quickly snapped a photo. TSK, so steamy. I quickly tried to pull my hand back. Ethan grabbed my fingertip and looked at me with a somewhat aggressive gaze. A tingling sensation spread through me. Evan shouted from the other side, "Lisa, you heartless thing. Why aren't you looking at me? It hurts so bad." Evan posted the photo on Twitter. A lot of friends commented below. Leo sent me a private message. Just a question mark. I didn't reply because Evan and I had already boarded a plane for vacation. A week later, I came back and dove back into game development. After all, I had invested. By the time I returned, it was already New Year's Eve. I quickly finished eating and escaped home under Leo's murderous glare. I started preparing my study abroad documents on my computer. Yes, this was always the plan. I used to say I didn't want to take over the family business because I was too young and immature. But being with Ethan, seeing them fight for their goals with passion, I suddenly felt inspired. I also wanted to be an excellent adult. Maybe because I hadn't planned to go back. My mom called me, but it was Leo on the phone. "Are you avoiding me?" I paused. Since our last clash, we hadn't been in touch. I looked at my computer and said slowly, "No." On my tablet, Ethan messaged, "I'm at my senior's place. Can finish by 8 p.m. Do you have plans later?" I put the call on speaker, freeing my hands to reply, "No plans." "Then I'll come get you." Maybe he heard the notification sound. Leo's tone darkened. "Messaging your boyfriend again?" I nodded. "Leo, you guys have fun. I'm not going over. Happy New Year." "You don't want this year's gift either." I paused. Since I can remember, every New Year's Eve after dinner, I'd spend it with Leo's friends. We'd set off fireworks and stay up late. It was a tradition to exchange New Year's gifts, and I always put my girlish thoughts into the gift for him. But now, it seemed unnecessary. It felt too ambiguous. I don't like ambiguity. So, I held the phone tightly and said slowly, "Thanks Leo, I'm 22 this year. Not a kid anymore, no need for gifts." I heard a friend's voice from his side. "What's wrong? Sophie isn't coming. You don't get it. She wants to be with her boyfriend. Didn't you see Lisa's Twitter? 60, almost 30. I don't understand these young folks." Something fell to the ground. "Leo, the gift for Sophie fell." I couldn't see Leo's face, but I felt the air pressure drop. So, I said, "I'll hang up now. Have fun." After ending the call, I replied to Ethan's message. "What's up?" Almost instantly. "Taking you out to the countryside to set off fireworks. Are you free?" "Sure." I rushed to the bedroom to change clothes. Of course, I also prepared a New Year's gift for Ethan. He usually takes the initiative, but today I want to tell him that he gets gifts too. Grand and brilliant fireworks lit up the sky, like a dazzling confession. Such a beautiful scene, really perfect for a kiss. Ethan pulled me closer. His gentle, meticulous kisses spread bit by bit. Two clumsy people, kissing for the first time, always bumping into each other's teeth. Ethan was gentle at first, but later it felt like he was losing control. He cupped the back of my head with one hand and wrapped my waist with the other, pressing me close to his chest. Our heartbeats synchronized, almost jumping out of our throats. He kissed passionately and fiercely, making me almost lose balance. So I had to hold on tight to his neck, feeling the hormones spread recklessly, until a sudden ringtone broke the moment. Ethan and I stopped, turned, and saw Leo standing in the shadows, his eyes hard to read. Ethan pressed my head against his chest, protecting me. Usually gentle and polite, he was angry for the first time. He raised an eyebrow at Leo. "What, Leo? Got a fetish for watching others making out?" For some reason, I felt like Leo was a ticking bomb, ready to explode. His breathing was heavy, calming himself at the edge of losing control. He reached out to me. "Sophie, come here." I didn't move. His jaw tightened, a storm brewing in his eyes. "Are you coming over yourself? Or should I carry you back? Or do you want your parents to know what you're up to?" I looked at him silently. "Leo, are you threatening me? Kissing my boyfriend? Isn't that normal?" He slowly closed his eyes. Then, he opened them again and walked towards us with big strides, and punched Ethan in the face. They fought. My parents found out about my relationship and grounded me. I protested, but it was useless. "You don't even know him. Why are you dismissing him? He's an excellent person." "Dad, Sophie, don't make mistakes. You two are too different. It won't work out." "Mom, it's your first love, I understand. But Sophie, You're my only daughter. I want you to be with someone we know well. Leo, you two are from different worlds. I sneered, satisfied. Leo, is this the result you wanted? I'm doing this for you. I don't need it. I'm an adult. I can tell right from wrong. He was very patient, but there was a hint of obsession in his eyes. Don't you understand? Without the money involved, he wouldn't even have met you. At that moment, I finally confirmed that the previous incident was intentional. So what? Leo touched my face. So, break up with him. Then, we can be together. Didn't you always cling to me before? I shook off his hand. Do you forget how you rejected me? I'm not your type. Yes, he almost didn't hesitate. I regret it. I don't want to see you with someone else. I like you. I threw all the gifts he gave me into their yard. Then I laughed. Actually, I don't get it, Leo. If you really like me that much, how could you reject me? You only feel regret because the girl who always followed you around isn't there anymore, and you can't adapt. Because I broke this secret crush, and you rejected me yourself. You think the one who should move on should be me. I should be heartbroken, clinging to you, not starting a new relationship after 6 months. He shook his head, dazed. No, Leo, you are the one who said girls shouldn't be too forward, it devalues them. So now you can just watch as I fall in love with someone else. I was surprised when Shirley came to see me. I only had a few encounters with Leo, we were never together. Knowing each other for so many years, if there were feelings, we would have been together already. She seemed to be speaking to me and herself. Shirley sighed. Leo likes you. I've been hearing that from everyone lately. So, what's it got to do with me? I didn't want to deal with it. He rejected me. Said I was like a sister. Now he says he likes me. Doesn't he think it's ridiculous? Shirley agreed. That's why I said he deserved to lose you. It's obvious to everyone except himself that he feels differently about you. I pursed my lips and didn't say anything. Remembered that rainy night and Leo's unfamiliar, impatient look. How could someone who likes you look at you like that? He used to think that being family was better than being lovers, because relationships involve quarrels, adjustments, and even breakups. He didn't want to lose you, didn't want to break the balance, wanted to keep things as they were. But he forgot. Even family will eventually form their own lives and drift apart. A broken relationship can never return to its original state. So, when he saw you with someone else, it wasn't just a joke anymore. He couldn't sit still. He regrets it. Shirley was analyzing his mind, but I didn't care at all at this point. I wasn't trying to say good things about Leo, just making sure my feelings were clear, confirming my choice. Some people, once missed, are missed forever. But what we have now is more precious, isn't it, in life? Sophie, you only regret not being brave once. So don't be like me. Before leaving, she gave me a letter. From Ethan. My parents didn't allow Lisa and Evan to see me, so they asked Shirley to bring it. 7. There was still a bank card inside. He paid me back twice the money. Sophie, I've been really happy with you during this time, but I understand the gap between us. My family, my career, the world doesn't see me as a match for you. Honestly, at first, I thought you were with me just for fun, or to piss someone off. I accepted it all because I couldn't refuse you. I've liked you for so many years. A girl as amazing and adorable as you who wouldn't like you. So thank you for giving me this chance. Not only for saving me from my struggles, but also for fulfilling my wish of being with you. Sophie, I love you, so I want you to be happy. Please, don't fight against it for my sake, okay? If there ever comes a day when I can be worthy of you, I'll come find you. If you choose someone else, I'll truly be happy for you because you deserve the best. I was sent abroad early, as everyone wanted. I didn't contact Ethan again, so I got my freedom back. Leo would fly over every week to accompany me. Just like countless times before, he'd cook for me, watch TV with me, and prepare everything I needed. But my heart felt nothing. I silently accepted it, because resisting wouldn't bring me any benefits. Day after day, I studied like my life depended on it. I thought, if one day I became really powerful, then I would have the choice. So I started trying to get involved in the family business, hiding all my feelings and working hard to become better. Mom and Dad were really pleased, saying I finally understood things. Leo was happy, saying we had all the time in the world. Everyone was happy, but why wasn't I happy at all? When I got tired of studying, I would think of Ethan. He would carefully highlight key points for me, hand me a water cup when I coughed, let me sleep in his arms when I got sleepy. Whenever I looked at him, the love in his eyes would always be there for me. I sniffed. I took my phone out, staring blankly at Lisa's Twitter. Would he erase my name? After paying back all the money, would he forget about me? By the second year, I had mastered the family's business. I also took over the overseas company and achieved great results. Shirley pulled Lisa and Evan to celebrate with me. Congratulations on the birth of our new strong woman. I smiled sweetly. Congratulations on me becoming the second Shirley. That day, we talked about so many things. We got drunk, and Lisa said, Ethan's team had many games that were a huge hit. Their small company now had hundreds of employees. Last week's new game for girls went straight to #1. He's amazing. The air suddenly went quiet. Ethan, I hadn't heard about him in a while. Hearing his name made my heart pound. I turned my gaze, and Evan covered Lisa's mouth. Come on, Sophie, let's toast. When the night ended, Leo came. Sitting on the bench downstairs, I told him, Leo, I don't like you anymore. Even though you've been by my side all these years, I just don't like you anymore. Leo froze. You haven't forgiven me. I have forgiven you, but I don't love you anymore. I once thought I would love you for a lifetime, but you see, people change. Haven't you forgotten him yet? We've grown up together. 20 years of emotions can't compare to half a year with him. He asked me with red eyes. The order of appearances in life matters, whether early or late. It affects choices and outcomes. I shook my head. Leo, you can't compare like that, and there's no comparison anyway. Shirley said, sometimes when you miss someone, you just miss them. Let's part gracefully. You will always be like a brother to me, but I don't want to be your brother. A tear silently fell from his eye. It felt like the beginning of the story all over again, just with reversed roles. Leo, my heart holds someone, there's no room for another. You should go back and don't come looking for me anymore. I got up and went upstairs without stopping. By the 3rd year, I finished my studies, and the overseas business was booming. I was now someone parents in the circle bragged about. In those 3 years, I never went back. When Lisa came to help me pack, she asked, are you still thinking about Ethan? I didn't respond. Have you seen him? I shook my head. When I left, they took my phone, replaced it with a new phone and new card. Plus, with parents and Leo keeping an eye on me, I had no way to contact him. The news I had about him came from the news or Lisa. Lisa took out her phone, opened her gallery, and handed it to me. Every month, he would come by your place once. Even I didn't know. I was beyond shocked. Why am I only finding out now? Because some student posted about it on a book-like platform. They often saw a handsome man at the school gate, like he was looking for someone, or maybe just wanted a glimpse. Many people replied with photos, saying they saw him too at various times. He was always alone. All these pieces fitted together. People said he came for 3 years, religiously, but never found who he was waiting for. I covered my face, tears streaming down. As soon as I got off the plane, my phone pinged with a notification. It showed a large sum deposited in my bank account. And that's when I realized it was from my investment in Ethan's game company years ago. I heard this game made over $100 million in its first week. It's super popular. In the past few years, he's become a hotshot young elite. He's got skills. I know that. He hasn't let me down. So, is this my share of the profits? At the same time, an unknown number popped up on the screen. For some reason, I had a strong feeling. It was him. My heart was pounding in my throat. I answered the call. On the other end, it was Ethan's warm voice. Sophie, I'm here to see you. If that day ever comes, when I'm worthy of you, I'll come find you again. You remember the bet from 3 years ago, Ethan? I bet you would make me win. That my investment would pay off. His voice was clear, deep and pleasant. And these past 3+ years, I wrote letters that I never sent. Do you want to see them? They were all addressed to you. Turn around. The end.